Hello everyone, my name is Nerd Builder. I'd like to welcome you back into another episode of MineColonies. I hope you're having a great day so far. So, we're standing in front of our town hall, which if you've been watching since the very beginning of the series, looks very different than it did throughout the entire series. And the town hall was one of the first buildings that we had placed, and at the time we forgot to correctly assign like the level that it was going to be at, so it was slightly into the ground, but it stayed that way throughout the series, and I've been meaning to fix it for a very long time, and I finally got around to it with a level when we upgraded this to level 3 to not only just change the style to create a little bit getting pushed by our co-host, I guess, over here. We'll try to grab those leads soon. Nope. But, you know, to add a little bit more color, just because, again, we do have a lot of gray in this area. So I figured a nice change and upgrade it to level 3 and raise it up out of the ground and reposition it. And let me just show, we'll head on over and take a look at it. But just to show, you know, I moved it all the way over to the edge over there. And then the road that we had been building around there, we started moving over here. And we're just going to have it connect through that way. But let's go inside here. So it looks a lot different on the inside. Looks great. I think the wood design really makes it look like amazing in that. And you know, we've picked up a few more citizens since then, and I'm just looking for there we go. So we're up to 45 citizens right now, and you can see we actually have a perfect happiness, so everyone is very happy right now. And let me just show upstairs too, because now we have a nice handy storage area. And one of the issues that has recently started coming up was that we're running out of space again in the warehouse. So I've had to move some of the saplings over here. I don't want to destroy them completely for when we do a composter eventually, but yeah, so I started moving some of the saplings up here. And yeah, so this will be a storage overflow area of that. And let's head downstairs. I'm going to try to keep the intro a little brief because we do have a lot in this episode here, but one of the reasons that this episode's a little bit later than it normally is on Fridays was because we finally upgraded the university to level 3. So any of the live streams from this prior week, I think it's like 63, 64, 65, or around there in the mid 60s, low to mid 60s. You'll see the process that it took to get the university upgraded to level 3, which was a lot. It took 3 live streams and then me doing some stuff off camera for it because it took a lot of material, but we finally got it upgraded, which I was very pleased with. And, you know, I started having them do more research over here to expand our colony, but we'll take a quick look on the inside. So, you know, we get a second level now, and let me just pop into here. We have a third researcher now, and, you know, we got 3 research going on. And trying to increase, you can see it takes about 2 hours now, but to increase our colony size. And, you know, there's a lot of different ones that we're going to be able to do research-wise. So we'll have to try to stay on top of that. But, so this took a lot. And we did some other stuff along the way. We added in some additional guard towers, one down this way. We've been flattening out the land, but for sake of time, I'm not going to head over there. And we also put another guard tower and expanded our southern border a little bit more and gave some extra security down this way as well, all the way at the end. So I'll just zoom out on our map so you could see, again, if you've seen the map before, we were a little bit more confined. Now you could see that we've really expanded to the south. You could see this gray wall, like this gray line spanning across there. We finally put a small wall up around the backside of our colony to try to help keep raids out. We still have a little bit more fence to go. Obviously, we have this gap right over here, but it's something that, you know, we'll look to probably remedy in the upcoming live streams here. But I'm going to take us over here because a few changes over here as well. Some things that were necessitated just because of the university build, so we'll take a look at that. But yeah, I feel like we made a lot of progress this week, and you know, the thing with the university upgrade is it really does take a ton of patience to do and a lot of material, so you definitely want to make sure to have all of the necessary buildings in place and to give it some time, and that set aside some time to do it. But we added another new guard tower in over here to expand our border out and to help with security, which has been great. We got this all upgraded to level 3. I did that off camera. We built them on camera, but I kind of did some of the upgrading off camera here. So we have 3 new guard towers. Each of the 3 are all upgraded to level 3 now. But let's head on over here. And this is also, I don't believe I showed this on the last episode, but we had 2 golems here, and they unfortunately have disappeared. I think they broke off their leads, but we do have 2 security guards out here now, 2 golems, and the golems have been working out great. We've had a couple raids come through the northeast, and no luck for the raiders. They didn't even break through the door. The golems were able to handle them quickly, even a large amount of them, like 15 or so barbarians. The golems did a great job. So the other thing I'm just going to quickly show before we jump into the episode, because as I mentioned, we do have a lot to do today. I'm just going to show because of how much wool the university upgrade needed. We finally have started a auto sheep farm, and I've been meaning to do this for a little while so we can get different color wool without having to use dye, because again, it gets expensive to do it. And we've been doing it through the series of just using dye for it, but again, we're going to run low on flowers until we can get the florist, and this is just a simpler way to get the wool that we need. So the production's been very good of it. Again, with our chunk loader mod over here, it's always running, and that's with taking, because we needed about 200 green carpet. So this is with taking out 200 worth of green carpet. That's how much we still have over the course of like a couple days. And, again, over here, we have just white wool, just to get consistent white wool, yellow wool, and black wool, and cyan wool, and brown wool. So we're also going to have to add in, red and purple, pink, all of the different colors. We're going to try to add in over here and make sure that this is always running so that we can make sure that we have enough. So we have like the appropriate amount of wool that we need. And our iron farm's been going great too. We have like an excess of iron because again, it's always running courtesy of these chunk loaders, which I've talked about a little bit earlier. But again, over here, like the one issue would just be space. And I think we could probably add, we have this chunk already loaded in. So if I have to expand out the coast a little bit, because we do have a couple more colors to put in, and these don't take a lot of room, but at the same time, it takes some room. So we'll have to create a little bit more space. So yeah, that's a brief update. We worked on this while the university build was going on. I think it's going to be a great addition to our colony, a great auto farm here, and we just have to check every so often for the shears, which I have to remember to add a few more in there because we just finished that one up in our latest live stream. But here, you could fill these up with shears, and I won't go too much into the technical side of this, but it's a pretty easy design to do. But you can fill this with shears. We use a dispenser. Again, if you check any of the live streams, you can see the process for how we did this. But dispensers will not shoot out shears. It'll actually just click, like cause them to click when the sheep eats the grass. There, because there's an observer underneath the dispenser there. So when it senses that the sheep, when the block changes, that's when it clicks there. So. But very good. So we can see it's starting to get dark with the sun setting off in the distance. So what I'm going to do is let's head back over to our colony and let's jump into today's episode. Okay, so it would appear that we are experiencing a raid right now. Great timing, I guess. So yeah, pirates from the north and the east. We can see all our colonists are tucked into bed. So let's go ahead and get our stats up here. Okay, and we successfully fended off that raid. I thought it'd be pretty cool to show it via a time lapse. We'll have them return back to normal. And, some of the stuff I wanted to show off in showing the time lapse was the effectiveness of just this little wall right here. And yes, we should probably extend this up. I think one of our guards is trapped down there. So we'll try to summon them back so he doesn't get stuck. But the wall is such a highly effective tool, and not even like the stone wall over there, because they can use ladders to get up and over them. It's these type of walls right here that seem to be the most effective, and we're actually going to put this along the base of this wall just because I feel like that'll be the most effective tool to keep them out there. And then we have our golems walking around there, our security guards. So one of the other things I wanted to show, because we've gotten a lot of 4 spawner ships, but we haven't gotten many 8 spawners, and they also destroyed our boat. Do I have another one? I do. Okay, I thought I had a second one. So a lot of times they will try to shoot at your boat. It seems like it's kind of grown a little bit smarter, of us trying to meet them out there, that they try to hit the boat and knock the boat off, so we go falling into the water, which we are close to shore, so no harm, no foul. But further out, that could be a little bit of an issue of us trying to get back. So I just want to show very quickly, and all the ice forming around the shore here. I just want to show the good loot that comes with these 8 spawner ships. So you could tell that there is like a substantial amount of spawners on here, and it produces a ton right away, a ton of pirates. But there is a lot of good loot to be had on this 8 spawner ship, and especially with like gold and all the other resources. So let's go around. I'm going to show some of the areas. I always forget on the mast too, on that note, about which one has the final spawner on it. But let's go ahead, and I'm just going to grab the emeralds. But again, this is a good source for emeralds, gold, there's some diamonds, and then iron if you need it. We'll take the potion with us too here. And I've been collecting some of the nether skulls there, so we'll keep some of that. And even let's take we'll leave the where is that? We'll leave the dead bush. We'll take the flower pot just because I know we're going to get use out of that too. And it has started to rain, I kind of thought, because it was getting a little foggy in here. But yeah, so let's go up here. Again, there's multiple offices, and this is something that's significant too, because we've been burning through books with recent upgrades. So this is good to get all these extra books, but you could see too, not only that, but paper as well. And I would take the clock and the compass, but we already picked up a few along the way. And then let's utilize our backpack mod here to throw some of these things up. And let me just grab the name tag that's going to be of use. And here's some more books, some more emeralds, and we have enough maps. And I'm actually going to take the feathers and the ink sacks, because again, we can always use more dye as well. And I think, okay, we got everything out of there. So the other good area where there's a bunch of good stuff is down below here. And sorry, it'll be a little foggy from the texture pack and the rain, but there's a nice one behind here. You want to be careful. You want to be careful when you get one of these bigger ships and doing the when you're coming down here to destroy the spawners down this way. Reason being is because it's very, very easy to get trapped down here. And, that's why a few times, like, I would shoot at them and then run up, because if they corner you, it's going to be very difficult, especially because it's a tight space with the bedding around here to get around. This is pretty much the only way around, and we have to get over here because there's 2 spawners. And actually, I think I'm going to take the beds, the red beds too, because we can always use the beds. We need them in builds and that, so it'll save us a little bit of resource. Let me dump some of our emeralds. We're back up to 50 in our inventory. And I'm going to grab these as well. I know we're going to need these in future builds, so. Okay, so we'll go ahead and just throw these up here. This is where the backpack mod really, really comes handy. So let's head over here, and I'm going to want this gold block here, and this one. I'm going to leave the iron just because we just do not, we don't need iron. We have, our iron spawner, which, or farm, I should say, that provides more than enough there. But this is the chest that really has a lot of good stuff in it. Blocks of gold, heart of the sea, a block of emerald, and then we got some diamonds here. So, not only it's very, it's almost a welcome sight to see the bigger ship come, because again, we get to fill up on a ton of stuff. I mean, even diamond horse armor, I have a few of those. I've been collecting those because I know down the road, the MineColonies wiki indicated that they could eventually have like mounted units. So that way, if we have that down the road, we could, have the diamond armor for each of the horses. So I've just been kind of stocking up on that, and let me throw that in there. But yeah, that's most of the loot. I've been taking stuff that's harder to get, so like dried kelp, I know we could use kelp. Obviously the emeralds and gold and diamonds are of value, but there's some stuff I won't take just because like we have enough of it already. Here we go. Okay, we got this one, and then I think, let me just check up here because there should be a few more things up here, more gold nuggets. But like I said, definitely worth coming back and raiding the ship after. You can see the variety of stuff. We're very good on food. I've been taking feathers just because, eventually if we need them for fletching. And that kelp, I'll take the kelp just because, again, it's one of the ingredients for one of the cures for, I forget which disease it is, but kelp is one of those. And yeah, I'm actually going to take the sugar cane because we've been running very, very low. It's amazing how much paper the school and the library use. So, and I'm actually going to take that one as well. But I think we pretty much got everything out of here. And that, so let's try to get our way back up and over. And then the last thing I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to take some of these lanterns. Let me just make sure I've been in. Oh, let me grab some of these lanterns. And the reason being is that we could use them. Oh, we're going to need them for our streetlight projects, and several of the builds needs them as well. They're not that expensive to make, but they're free, and we have enough iron. If you have a steady supply of iron, it's not an issue, but it does cost a lot to get them, and torch by way of torches and everything. So, but yeah, I normally I'll show the raids sometimes if they happen on video, but I wanted to show this one just because I've noticed that this one, that the 8 spawner one, has been showing up since we have been at population 30, because we went temporarily back down to 29 when we had a death, but at 30, it seems like, we started progressing from the 4 spawner ships to the 8 spawner ships, and it's a little bit easier to get up onto this ship. You just have to be careful. This is like, we've had a couple of these so far that have happened on live streams, but I always forget. So it's the farthest mast that has the final spawner, because I always check all 3. I always forget which one is which. But yeah, so just about remembering where they are. But I think we're gonna have to get more accustomed to this type, just because we're probably gonna be seeing these nastier raids like this. So let me just grab that. But yeah, no. So let's before we were doing this, we were going to jump into our next build for today's episode. So let's head back over to the mainland, and we'll start going over for today's episode. Okay, so as I mentioned, today we're going to be building the sawmill, and I'm thinking that this area right over here will hopefully be big enough to hold it. Again, with the, our forester is situated right over there. So this would make sense. He's been planting some trees in this general area, but I'm hoping that we could maybe fit it in. We'll have to see how big the block ends up being. But yeah, so the sawmill is like a great, I think, a great next build that's going to complement all of the other work buildings that we have. Because, while we have all our bases covered with ores and with stone, we don't have anyone that can really produce, wooden objects for the entire colony. Now, we've taught some individual workers how to, convert, for example, oak logs into planks. But again, like for that's with Maddox or Emmy, our builders. Many of our other colonists, unfortunately, they can't learn that recipe, and but they still do need to have oak planks, for example. And one of the biggest examples of this is our blacksmith. When crafting shields, for example, that he does need, in addition to some iron ore or iron bricks, he needs to have some wooden planks. So the sawmill is really going to help out a lot because you're going to be able to supply to the rest of the colony wooden planks as they need them. But also he's going to help out when we're doing other further upgrading and building, because that way our person operating the sawmill is going to be able to craft a lot of materials that for the builds and that. So the sawmill, you're going to have a level 3 forester's hut, which we do have. We've upgraded that a little while ago. And you have to have finished the relevant research in the university, which we also completed a little while ago. I believe it also unlocked with the forester at level 3 there. So the sawmill is where the carpenter will craft any items made out of at least 75% wood. So 75%, but then there's also a caveat of cannot include ingots, stone, redstone, or produce a redstone signal or string. So, again, like some of our other work buildings, they're kind of selective in the recipes that they can do, because presumably, a different building handles like redstone type objects, just to give an example there. But it says that the carpenter will also craft a few other items, including cactus planks, shingles, timber frames, compost barrels, and racks. So those can also be taught there. And again, like all our other buildings, you have to teach them the recipe in order for them to be able to craft it. So at a level 1 sawmill, we're going to get 10 recipes, which I can already tell that that's going to go incredibly fast. We're going to be able to fill that up. Level 2 is 20, level 3 is 40, level 4 is 80, and level 5 is 160. So, we'll have to look to get this upgraded very quickly as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and I'm going to place down our crafting table. Let me get back into first person view here, and we're going to create some oak planks. I don't think I have any on me. We're going to have to make 3 wooden axes. So it's got to be wood specifically, it appears. Let's go ahead and make 3 of those. We got those right there. And what we can do, and we have our build tool right there, is we can go ahead and put the planks right here and down here. And then we're going to take our wooden axes and we're going to place them right into here. And we're going to take our build tool, and there we go. So we get the sawmill block right there. And let me just get this out of the way here. And yeah, so let's go ahead and try to place this down. I'm going to take these saplings up because I think we might need the space over here. So he's been growing some trees over in this direction, but we're going to have to try to direct him back over there. I'm also going to take this torch up right now. So again, there might be a little bit of flickering. There usually is with these ones, just the way that the mod pack is. So if you're sensitive to that, it's a good time to look away. So with that being said, let's go ahead and use our build tool. And let's see how big this is. And I think we might go with a stone design. Okay, so it doesn't appear to be, it's somewhat big, I guess. Let's see if we put it all the way back, and then we'll take a look at level 5 to see how it looks. So let's just say we go. Okay, this works out, I think, really well. Let's see. This shouldn't get that much bigger, I don't believe. All right, let's try to direct it over. Maybe move it a little bit more. Leave a little bit of room behind so it's not right up against the wall here. Yeah, because we're gonna want like a sidewalk path coming through here eventually when we terraform that. let's move it over. We're only going to have one building in this area anyways, and I want to leave room because eventually when we put another careers hut in over here. So I think this is looking pretty good right here. Let me just make sure we're at the appropriate, yep, height, and let's take a look at the level 5 of it. Okay, so it's not actually as massive. I was concerned that it might be a little bit more massive and it wasn't going to fit in here, but I think this fits in perfectly. This gives us some room so that we can have eventually have like we're going to terraform this out to make this more of just like a staircase coming down on either side, and maybe we could just put like a little park or something here as well. So but I think this leaves enough room for it, and this kind of fills up this area because once we get the other careers hut, you know, when we get our 4th one, which will probably be needed at sometime soon, we could fit it into here. So okay, and this is the front of it. We've confirmed. So let's go ahead and plop this down here. Looking good over here. And let's take a look at what is needed here. And not that much. Yeah, even the oak log. So it looks like Maddox should pretty much have everything. I think we're going to have Maddox handle this one. Yeah, this really isn't that much. We're probably going to be able to get this upgraded very quickly as well. And so, yeah, so what we're going to do is we're going to do something a little bit different. You know, normally we cut out and we come back after the completed build, but today we're going to try to do a time lapse and see how that goes. And I figured this one will be brief enough that we can give it a go. So let's check it out. That was pretty easy. I went pretty quick. I hope you all enjoyed the time lapse. There's something cool to watch it actually be built there. So yeah, let's take a look. Maddox on the roof right there, but this was put up just incredibly fast. Not that much material to it. So let's go ahead and let's take a look here first, as we always do with level 2. You know, we could see some of the materials that are needed here. And it's actually not that bad to get this up to level 2. You know, most of this stuff can be made like fairly easily there, so not bad. So let's go and take a look. Let's hire someone first for it. So it looks like knowledge is one of the big ones, and so is dexterity. And I think Jasper might be the best candidate for this one, we have a few people waiting to be hired. Let's go ahead and hire Jasper here as our carpenter. And yeah, so we could start by teaching, some recipes here. So let's go ahead and just as a basic one, let's teach oak stairs, and then let's teach some slabs right there. Good. So just 2 recipes, for example, that I know off the top of my head there. And then, of course, we can teach some of the architect's cutter ones as well. So let me see if I can get the order right. I always, without fail, I always seem to get this backwards. But let's take a look here. We can see our carpenter has arrived. Oak planks. And other way around. Like I said, never fails to do it backwards. There, so let's do some paper extra. This comes up on occasion, so that way they'll be able to make this, and then we could see all the different recipes here that they can make from that. So let's go ahead and just teach that one for right now. But yeah, so we can get up to 10 recipes, which we should be able to do like fairly quickly. And I see it's getting nighttime, so let's go back to our player house and sleep. But the one thing that I'm really curious about is whether or not they can craft bookshelves, because that'll be something pretty significant if they can, because again, there's always a high demand for that. And I'm actually just going to hop into bed. And so we actually got the advancement there, a saw point. And let's head back down. I don't think I have any books on us, so let's go get some books from the warehouse very quickly. There, I'm really curious to see, because again, a lot of our builds require bookshelves, so I think we should have some books laying around. Maybe. No, they tore through all of the books. Okay. Do they have sugarcane in here or paper? Let's see. 1 paper. How about sugarcane? Otherwise, we're going to be taking... Okay. I guess just nothing. That's okay. Let's head on over to our storage area. We have some sugarcane down there, so we can grab some. Really, that's why, when we've been getting the pirate raids, I've been making sure to, like, take all of the books and the bookshelves. I think that all of our students are using using them, and we're going through paper at a huge rate of paper. So let's head down here to our storage area. And let's see, where did I store sugarcane? I think it might be in the next row. We never have too much of it. There we go. So 12. And actually we'll have enough. So let's go ahead and let's make some paper. We'll have to go to our auto farm. Get some, but let's go ahead. 12. And this should be okay, because we'll just need... Oh, I need leather. And for right now, let me just move these up. So let's go ahead and now let's see. Good. And let me see. I always just take a look at the recipe. So I'm hoping, because it says about 75%. And, I guess this would be like 66%. So I guess let's see if they can craft it or not. And the reason I'm specifically showing this and doing this is just because, bookshelves are, they're not obviously that hard to make, but, it does take a lot of materials, and it'd be nice, especially, for them to be able to make their own bookshelves. There, so we can see Jasper hanging out over here. Well, let's go ahead and let's see if we can teach, bookshelves. And there. Yes. Okay, excellent. I'm very happy to see that, because that way they can kind of become a little bit more self-sufficient. I think we're going to have to flood the warehouse, because again, we just came through winter recently, so I think we're going to have to flood the warehouse with some of our own sugarcane and paper, and that's it. They have enough to craft, but I was hoping that they would be able to craft that specific one. So, but yeah, I'm going to go through and probably load up the rest of these recipes here and kind of come up a little bit. There we go. But that's going to be it for today's episode. I hope you enjoyed the look at building the sawmill and kind of seeing the time lapse. I like it. I think it's going to look great. Hopefully you enjoyed it. I think it'll be beneficial to see it, like the building actually going on in progress. And that if you did enjoy it, please consider dropping a like on the video. It really does help out, especially with the YouTube algorithm, so that more people can find our community here. And if you're not subscribed, please consider subscribing. It's free, doesn't cost anything, and it really does help the channel out a ton. The support is always very much appreciated there. And of course, feel free to hop over onto our Discord, which is also free. There, everyone is invited to it. And, there you can ask questions about MineColonies, about this world, make suggestions for future builds and all that fun stuff. So, yeah, we'll be back within the week with another video. I'm kind of debating between a couple different buildings for the next build. And, I definitely would, appreciate any comments down below if you made it this far in the video for what you would like to see next there. So thank you so much. My name is Nerd Builder. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you soon. Bye for now.